What do we got here, Wei J?
Well, another thing that's kind of intriguing for me was this report card. All these little details can tell you a little bit of how the players think about the organization. And there's kind of some nice standouts in the rankings that I'd like to just bring up with you guys. So Cowboys ranked 10th out of 32 teams. I expect the Cowboys to be much higher than 10th. I don't know about you guys, but moving down, the biggest thing is the training room with a C, 27th out of 32, and training staff with a C, 30th out of 32. That's surprising to me because that's nothing to do with cap. That's just, Jerry, are you spending money on your football team? And to see the training room staff and the training room get such a low grade.
Well, let's
make it make sense, to quote our buddy Barry Grant Jr.
Yeah, make it make sense. So 27th out of 32 teams. So let's just read some of this here. 75% of the Cowboys players feel they have enough full-time trainers, ranking them 30 out of 32 teams.
30 out of 32?
Which means that
they're
more than 75% on other
second
teams.
last.
Yeah.
60% of the players feel they have enough full-time physical therapists. 95% of the players feel
that's the last place.
Yeah, 32. So, but that's weird. 60, but players feel they have enough full-time.
So the good teams have
61 is 31.
Yeah, or 90% is one.
Is one.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I'm just reading the stats out for people so we have our audio listeners can feel.
Well, let's just say last place.
They're last.
But like in terms of like how do you rank them? So that's why I was reading this. This breaks down like what they're ranking, what accumulates this training.
No, the only reason I was calling you out on that one because they're just that one. The percentages work good in every other one, but they're 32 out of 32.
Yeah.
And full-time physical therapists.
So 60%.
What is physical the rapists?
You can't say that. You can't say that. We got blacklisted.
No, that's Celebrity Jeopardy.
I know.
But let me ask you, Chris, is that something that you don't like to see, or are you like whatever? It's just I mean, I expect this out of, I don't know, Washington,
Jacksonville.
Cowboys, though, they're supposed to be the best sports association in the world.
Should be 1, 4, 2,
top 5, top 8.
Well, they got the best facilities. Because you got the best facilities don't mean you got the best people in there. I mean, I think it was they were 32nd last year also.
That's
so
brutal.
they still hadn't even improved. I just think it's just not important to their organization to have the best training staff, apparently. Because I've heard players say that, about their training staff and things like that. I know Cowboy Corner had a stat last year about players coming off soft tissue injuries that the Cowboys training staff was the worst in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that training staff is 30th. They have 72% of players report that they receive enough one-on-one training treatment. That's 29th out of 32nd. And second last in the players feel that their training staff slightly contributes to their overall. Slightly.
You have one of the most.
Slightly.
You have one of the biggest sports franchise, the number one sports franchise
in the world of every sport.
Out of everything. That should be number one.
Like all of it should be. Well, they should be bare minimum. Okay, maybe you slip in a couple things. Top 15 and everything.
Yes.
Like 15 should be embarrassing. 32 is asinine. That shouldn't even be an option.
Well, Jerry Jones is old school because when they look at the strength training, it's AAA. So he's like, hey, I want my boys tough, but I don't give a about this pliability. What do you think? We got a bunch of fucking Tom Brady's out here. Go ahead, bunch of pussies. You may rehab yourself. Have some salt.
Well, I'm going to get some rehab right here. Crack them if you got them. Dark cherry. Drip, hard seltzer.
Yeah, so I think the training room is just, that should be a concern. And here's why I think this matters is because if I'm a player in a free agency, and Chris, I was very close to making it to the NFL with no with no college experience. You know this very well. You see me out there You've seen my groundwork when I'm rolling on the ground.
Your slants and comebacks?
My slants and comebacks. But that would be something that I'd look at if I was a free agent is like, I don't know how much I'd weigh this at the end of the day, But it's certainly, if I'm coming down to a 50-50 kind of coin toss between two places and I see your training staff fucking sucks and this place has 15th ranked, and I'd be expect the Cowboys,
especially if you're an older player.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, man, like I don't know what's drawing. The Cowboys don't have enough drawing people to the organization at this point in the history of Dallas to warrant anyone being like, I will take less to go play for the Dallas Cowboys. There's not enough potential. There's not enough. I honestly think that the wearing the star on your chest doesn't have that much meaning for a lot of these younger players now, because it's so far past when they came into the NFL. Like, they're past the 90s. They're in the 2000 Cowboys now, these young guys coming in, right? And so I'm just like I kind of feel worried about how the Cowboys' ability to get free agents after seeing this.
Well, yeah, that's what R2J2 says, is like you're kind of keeping away free agents. Starstruck in chat says maybe that speaks volumes for all the injuries last season. It'd actually be interesting to see.
Or the recurring injuries.
Yes.
Trevon Diggs.
Yeah, so the teams that have the poorest rating on here, let's say the last 8 teams or 10 teams, I wonder if that correlates with injured players, like if there's like that
reoccurring injuries too.
Yeah, so that would be an interesting thing to break down and look at. But I mean,
it will also be a lot of the hidden that we wouldn't see. It would be the stuff like, hey, I'm getting banged up this week, but all the training staff is taken up with 5 or 6 other guys, whatever. So now I'm not getting the treatment I need right away. I'm having to wait a week, and you've got 4 days to prepare, waiting 24 hours.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm coming up with a scenario that I don't even know if is real in my head.
Is there a cap space for trainers and training staff? Like, is it
no? Well, that's what AJ said.
I know,
and you both kind of touched on like this point of AJ was saying there's no cap space, and then you were saying that they're the most profitable fucking sports franchise in the world.
Yep.
Come on, where's it not making sense here? It just comes down to not wanting to spend on it. That's it. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, nothing else was bad except for that. Like, B's, B minus, whatever. We can that could just be some sour grapes or something specific that like we don't see in there that they don't like. But the training room specifically for me stood out as like scary.
They're probably the Joneses are probably thinking, well, I think our training staff is pretty good. Like, we've had them for a while. Look, let me just pull over this player right here and ask, how do you think our training staff? Oh, good. Yeah, see, they're good. I don't know where this report's coming from. It's a bunch of bularchy.
Bularchy?
Bularchy. Yeah.